So remember, at this point, we have all his cards, and we have not paid him a dime. And we're like, hey, let's get in the car and do it. And so, and I'm like, hey, you get in the front seat, and I'll sit in the back seat right behind you, while Jeremy gets in the driver's seat. And we all get in and close the door. And he goes, "What are we going to go for a ride now?"
Yeah.
Like we were going to murder him. What up, everybody? How's it going, Yoda? And oh, hey, Jeremy, didn't see you there. What's the latest Texas Snowman Collector Investor Podcast? Welcome, everyone. How are you doing, Snowman?
Good I am, or good am I, whatever Yoda would say.
Good I am. Yeah, probably good I am.
Good I am. Yeah, good, man. I need to get some Lord of the Rings stuff up in here. That's actually my favorite. But yeah.
Well, Yoda will do just fine.
Yoda's hard to beat, man. Very wise. I love Yoda. Yoda's amazing.
Yeah,
my favorite Star Wars character. So, but yeah, dude, things are great. Really good. Cranking along. Gonna have another pretty awesome auction and lots of good stuff. Should likely have our first 6-figure sale. So that's gonna be fun.
We've already previewed what that card will be, right?
Yep.
So if you're not sure, go back and watch some of our previous episodes, or just watch the next upcoming auction.
Yeah, and I can give some teasers. You know, some of the big boys that are in there are the 52 mantle, PSA 2 gold diamond. There's 2013 BBM Otani BBCE wrapped boxes, series 1 and 2. Those are huge.
Yep.
And 2017 Mahomes black auto out of 25 PSA 9.
Okay.
And an Otani, a couple of nice Otanis. There's a Heritage Otani auto, and then rookie, and then there is a Topps Chrome gold refractor pitching rookie PSA 9. So, yeah, really big. All those are big items. The second series BBM isn't as big, but the first series is. It's got a lot of extra cards in there. So, yeah, a lot of great stuff coming up.
Got some fire. Got some fire, as the kids say.
Got some fire, buddy. Heck yeah, man. Lots of great vintages always, too.
Okay, well, we can preview it a little bit next week. All right, next week it'll be live, right?
Preview will be live this Friday.
Oh, the preview will be live this Friday. Yeah, so maybe we can preview a little bit next week or the following or whatever.
But, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
things are great, man. Congrats again on you getting your place of business. Actually, after all these years, you got a public place. That's awesome.
I've finally gotten a place outside of my basement to operate out of. Where the lease begins May 15th, so I'm still a few weeks away before moving in. But they're changing the carpets, they're putting in lights, painting the walls, and yeah, it'll be ready.
You're coming out of the closet, man, or basement. Sorry, good job.
I'm coming out of the basement, and I'm an adult now. Finally, it's not time.
Yeah, good for you, buddy. Good for you.
Yeah, no, it's actually very exciting. To be honest, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we got a bunch of things on the docket. Let's see, we're gonna go over the how hot the hobby is and how it's been hot for a long time now. We got some more new data to back that up. Take some viewer questions from viewers as always, and then producer's corner, where he asks us a question as opposed to we're not going to do the draw of the day today or whatever that's called. We're doing producer's corner where Theo asks us a question and we'll tell some stories about it. And it's actually about one of our largest ever deals that we did together. So hope people will enjoy that. But yeah, any other updates? Which shows have you been to in the last week? you go to like 3 shows a week, don't you?
We have a ton. Actually, this last weekend we didn't have any shows. Believe it or not.
Yeah,
I don't want to burn out everybody. You know what I mean?
Sure.
No, we did DCS New Jersey, and then we did Houston show recently, and I believe we have another. We did a local Dallas show as well. So those are the 3 we've done most recent. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. What's coming up?
DCS is around the corner again here in I think 2 or 3 weeks, and then there's Detroit, and I'd have to look at my schedule. There's so many of them, man. But I know there's one in mid-May, I believe, that's in Houston.
Yeah.
And then there is the DCS that's in May, and there's one other one I can't even remember.
Nice.
We have a very packed show schedule, so
good stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's jump in. Do you want to jump into this hobby is hot story, which seems to be the story every week?
Yeah, let's dive in. Sounds good.
Okay. What is this?
Oh, that's not it. Thor, get on here. What's
What is
going on?
Yeah, guys, look, we were actually voted the #1 new sports card podcast.
By who?
You guys have, it actually says right there in fine print. It's by Chris's family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they voted, and we were #1 by far, actually.
I was like, this is
fact-
news to me.
In fact, nobody else even received a vote, or had they even ever heard of any other podcast? So we absolutely crushed that voting. Yeah.
We're doing great, guys.
Keep
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Yeah,
Way to go, Team Sewall.
that's pretty good. Good one, Thor. I didn't know that was coming.
That's hilarious. You didn't know that was coming either?
No, I didn't.
I didn't know that was coming. I was like, what is this? What is this? That's funny. We're #1 in our own minds. That's great.
In my family's mind, yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right, our boy Junk Wax Mike, in his most recent, his weekly, which is basically must watch. His every weekend he puts out a news stories of the day, calls it clearing the bases. And one of the stories in there was this Will Stern tweet, a tweet by Will Stern about how much the hobby has grown over the last, I don't know, 3-4 years or whatever. And look at that chart. That chart is absurd. And that chart represents the number of sales, and we believe it's like across all platforms in the sports card space for singles and wax boxes combined. I don't know if it includes like retail stores or what, but whatever it's representing. I mean, look at that chart. It's just incredible, the uptick over the last few years. And this has been ongoing for quite a while. I think Thor had said Fanatics bought Topps for $500 million, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And they expect to do $4.5 billion in revenue this year. And so, I was one who definitely scoffed at them when they said they're going to 10x the hobby. I thought that was like a ridiculous claim. There are numbers supporting that they've sort of already done it on some level. So what's your immediate thought there, Jeremy?
Well, we said long ago that Fanatics may take over the world here, the world of collectibles.
Yeah,
and it is proving true. Absolutely. I think that it reminds me of the junk era. Honestly, like it reminds me of the junk era because there was a ton of money coming in, ton of growth coming in. They way overdid it, and look at the values now and how many people bought stuff that is not worth much of anything now. So, I think that that's largely happening with boxes. There's just too much. Like, remember that Josh Allen we were talking about that had sold for the same, like a brand new product, auto had sold for the same as one of his good rookie cards.
Right.
And I forget who came out with it, but there was another sale of that card now, and it was significantly less already. Right. Yeah, already significantly less. I forget who to shout out, but that is not surprising to us at all that happened. So I think that what my hope is that the growth would be more sustainable for the consumer, so that it's not growth on the back of the consumer taking heavy losses for buying a $1,000 box and getting $10 of cards or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, but that's like I hope everyone watching it knows that when brand new product hits the shelf and it's a very hot product like Topps Chrome Football was, do not buy the singles on day one. Wait. They're going to come down. I promise you. They're going to come down. There'll be the rare exception where something doesn't come down, but most stuff will come down because everybody wants it on day one. But on day 21, a lot of people have moved on and there's a lot less demand. So that's sort of what you're talking about with the Josh Allen there. But in terms of like how hot, I mean, all the metrics point to this is the most number of people in the hobby that there's ever been. I've sort of hint at this in some of my videos. But card show attendance are breaking records every single show. PSA, grading numbers are the highest they've ever been. The eBay sales are wildly higher than they've ever been. This chart we just looked at is another indication that things are higher than, there's more people involved in the hobby than ever. And, is that a good thing or a bad thing is sort of the next question. But what do you attribute that to, if anything? Is my first question.
I would attribute it to, I think a lot of investors took notice of what's been happening with cards.
Yeah.
I was asked from a new consigner and recent friend of mine, actually.
Yeah.
What would I invest 50 grand in besides cards? And I gave him a few things that I would invest 50 grand in, and his rebuttal, which I largely agreed with, was that it's tough to beat cards as a good investment. And I was like, the right cards, absolutely right. And he's really a vintage guy, so for him, he's got a ton of great vintage stuff. Which, look historically, he's right. It just keeps going up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that was very interesting that when I gave him my answers, which, I felt were pretty logical answers and safe, quote unquote, safer investments anyway, that was his rebuttal. I was like, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. Yeah. The question was outside of cards, and I gave it, and he went back to cards, and honestly, rightfully so. It was a good investment, but the investments he made turned out to be quite good. So, I would attribute it to a lot of fresh blood coming in that are kind of bored of the stock market, and they'd like to have something tangible in hand that they view as a stock. And you look at all the reports and history, and the whole story about how if you spent $1 grand on 86 Microsoft versus 86 Fleer, that the Fleer would be worth more than Microsoft. Like that's amazing.
Is that true?
From what I've heard, viewers correct me if that's incorrect, but maybe that could have also been at the height of COVID or something. But there was something that came out that talked about that, and that drove a lot of stuff too. So anyways, so there's just so much new blood from investing pools that has come in. I think that's really largely what's driving it. Plus, I mean, Fanatics is also driving it. They're really pushing a lot of things to drive that up as well, especially globally with soccer and other things like that too. So I mean, they like you said, they said they would 10x it, and they're doing a pretty good job of making that come to fruition.
Yeah, I would attribute it almost all to Fanatics, and I'm not saying that's a good thing. It can be viewed as good or bad, but I think they have pumped so much money into the hobby and the marketing side. They have made a point to make cards cool, and there's celebrities promoting it, and there's all this like hype around it, and it's fun, and look at all this exciting stuff. This was nothing, Topps never did all this stuff before, and they're promoting it in so many ways, and they're expanding globally, and I think that's the reason the hobby has grown so much in the last few years. Again, I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing or it's sustainable. I'm just saying I think that's what I think is the reason it's grown so much. I think Fanatics has pumped so much money in it, and it's working so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done an awesome job, man. It's pretty insane. I mean, look at that growth chart. That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, the next question is it sustainable? It's hard to say, but I mean, the chart's not showing any sign of turning around yet. But maybe at some point.
I'll give a prediction. I'll give a prediction. Now, as we always say, we never would ever claim to be 100% right all the time on what's going to happen in the future, but I think that there almost has to be some level of market correction on at least certain aspects of the market. Largely, I'm talking about ultra modern stuff, right? They keep making more and more and more of it. So I think that there's got to be a market correction. I think that the price of these boxes, I would like to think, is going to have to come down because people are going to slow down buying it. I could be dead wrong, and people still buy it, and they're happy to spend $1 grand in hopes to make 10, but most of the time they're going to lose many hundreds, and maybe that never changes, man. That never changes. It's very possible that could never change because a lot of these guys are doing it instead of typical ways to gamble.
Going to the casino, yeah.
Going to the casino, going to the horse race, whatever, right? So maybe it won't ever change. Casinos don't have any sign of going away. You know what I mean? So there really is an argument that no, it's going to stay up there. But I would like to think at some level there's got to be a market correction on the ultra modern stuff for sure. Like some of the older stuff and older modern.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I could see that staying where it's at, continuing to go up, trickle up, go up, big chunks here and there, but the ultra modern, we'll wait and see, I guess. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the thing that to me makes the least sense is when like Paul Skeen's 101 debut card sells for $1 million. Like the Jordan Kobe thing that sold for 13 million. I mean, that's absurd, but I can almost like make sense of it. Like there's 20 years old, it's a 101, it's a Jordan Kobe dual auto. Like there's enough, but like when it's a 2026, patch that's $1 million, and you're like, there's no history at all there. Like that's sort of thing we haven't really seen before. And I don't know. I would sort of agree with you. Maybe there'd be a correction there, but who knows? I'm not rooting for a correction. I like when the hobby's hot. So
I do too. I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it within the vein of I'd like it to be more fair and a little bit more money in the pocket of the people that open these boxes.
Yeah,
that's what I would like.
The box price thing is just, I don't even know how we got there. Like people, there's no way you can afford a box that makes any sense. That's at all credible.
I watched a friend of mine open a $2,000 box. I think he pulled 200, maybe $300 out of that box.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's a massive loss. Now, yeah, he could have pulled $100,000 card out of that box, right?
Well,
he didn't.
Very unlikely. Yeah.
And I forget how many cards were in it, but there was less than a dozen cards in this box. You know what I mean? And there was just nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing.
No, I have a similar story. This wasn't a friend, but I was in a card store, and a guy opened a box, and I want to say it was like $1,000 football box, and he just got smoked. He got nothing. But in the last pack, he pulled like a Jaden Daniels something that was maybe $300, and he was pretty excited, like because he pulled this $300 card, and I remember just being like, yeah, but you just spent $1,000. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, but I got this awesome, and there's just the mentality is not ROI, which that's good. I guess from a collector's standpoint, it shouldn't be, but
so it's the thrill of the chase, right? It's the thrill of the chase.
Yes, I guess that thrill of the chase from opening packs left me a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got one more question for you guys, because you both have cards that you're holding for investment purposes, let's say.
Yeah.
Is now the time to sell? I've actually had long-term vintage collectors reach out to me and go, I'm having a hard time keeping some of my cards right now because of where it's at. It's similar to when COVID was at or close to its peak. They said, I could sell this today and come back in later. It's kind of a weird scenario right now. What would you tell somebody that's talking about that right now?
Well, you or me?
Go ahead.
I would tell them that it largely is case-by-case basis. And Chris, I know you'll agree with this, that what's the purpose of selling it, right? Is the purpose of selling it that you want to use those funds to go after cards you want even more? Is the purpose to use those funds for whatever reason that you want to use them for something, whether it's card-related or not? Would you like to cash out of those to use it elsewhere? And if the answer is yes, then it's a great time to sell it right now, right? If your answer is, I think it's reached the maximum it's ever going to get to, and I've tapped this investment to its peak, is it time to sell? Has it reached the peak? Then my answer would kind of resort back to the same question, but I don't know that there ever will be a peak. You know what I'm saying? It could be possible that today's prices are the highest that they'll ever go. I personally don't think that's the case, and you don't think that's the case, but I would look at it like this, I guess, largely to answer the question in fullness: a bird in the hand versus two in the bush. If you have a card and you would be happy to liquidate that card, the prices are solid right now, sell it. You don't know what the future holds. You don't know what the future holds. Sell it, right? Sell it. Do what you want with it. If you believe in that player or that specific card that you have or brand or whatever, and you believe it's going to go up a lot and you love the card anyway, and you want it as an investment long-term or to pass down to the family or whatever, then don't sell it. Keep it, right? So there's no right answer here. It's preference and what the purpose is behind it. Most vintage dealers, collectors that I know, collectors that I know, They keep what they're most passionate about, and they'll sell duplicates as they upgrade the card. Like I just sold my Aaron rookie. It was a 4. I got a 5, so I sold the 4. I upgraded it, right? So largely they sell their duplicates, and that's why they sell it. Others, they sell it because, hey, I want to build a house. I'm going to sell my mantles and cobs and roots. Okay, cool. Sell those, So that would be my answer. I think it's a great time to sell. I could see you holding some too and selling some and kind of hedging your bets, if you will. What's the purpose of selling it, right? Why are you wanting to do it?
Yeah. A lot of people. That's a great answer. A lot of people ask me, should I buy this card? Or should I sell this? These are very personal, questions.
Yeah.
We can't answer for you, or I can't answer for anybody. That's totally up to you, and it's up to your situation. And it sounds like a boring cop-out answer, but that's the truth. It makes perfect sense if you're like, I want to hold this even though the price is high because I love it. Well, yeah, but also makes sense. Hey, I could use the money and prices are high, so I should sell it. Both of those are perfectly good decisions and aren't for like somebody else to tell you what to do there. I personally am not selling my vintage at the moment, my PC vintage, but that doesn't mean somebody else shouldn't.
Right. I think it would be fun for us to say what we're doing, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Because we are collectors at heart,
yeah,
and we are dealers, right? We own an auction house. We have bought and sold cards our entire career, but we're also collectors who love this hobby, and that's why we made it a career, right?
Yeah.
So I have certain cards that I'm keeping, and most of them I'm keeping because I love the card. That's why. That's why I'm keeping. I love the card, right? Some of them I actually don't passionately care about, but I view it as a very good investment, and I don't mind looking at it because it's a sick card. It's awesome, and I'm happy to look at it. I'd much rather look at that than my portfolio on the stock market, if you will. Not to say that I don't do that, but I would rather look at this awesome card that brings me joy more so than numbers in a stock market portfolio would, right? So some cards I have as an investment, but the majority of the value of my collection is because I love it and I don't want to sell it. Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not selling, even though prices are at ridiculous high prices right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I mean, if we,
it's just as likely to continue up as it is to take a turn, and we don't know which is going to happen. So,
right,
either one could happen.
I could see, like, if I could use some extra coin for something, I could sell some of my PC for that, and the stuff I have is extremely liquid stuff, so I could do that, and I may do that for whatever reason if I need to or time comes or whatever, right? But I just love my collection. I don't want to sell it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. On to the next.
This is the Fanatics American Express card, which is sorry. I had we were shouting out Junk Wax a lot today, but he said something that was so funny about it the last video. I can't quote it because I would get it wrong. But Fanatics has an American Express card that they have introduced. What do you think about that? What's your initial thoughts on that?
I think they're probably going to give a lot of people a lot of credit, and it hurts my heart a little bit. To be honest, yeah, I could see that going not in a good direction for many people racking that bad boy up.
I don't know what the terms are of the card or any of that. Like, what is Fanat? I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of anti credit card in general. Like, to me, you shouldn't buy something unless you have the money.
I use my credit card as much as possible just for the reward points, and then I pay it off before I get any interest.
Sure, a credit card should only be used if you use it and pay it off immediately. Otherwise, it should not be used except in maybe extreme scenarios, in my view. But that's a sort of a bigger topic. Fanatics getting involved in credit cards, I mean, seems weird, but whatever. I guess would sort of be my response. Don't get this. I'll just say I'm guessing that just don't get this.
Yeah, I'm immediately like I have that gut feeling like it's going to do more harm than good by far. Don't get it. I agree. Yes.
It's like Caesar's Palace credit card. Oh, what could go wrong?
Exactly. Don't get a Caesar's Palace credit card. Don't get a Fanatics credit card.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the only scenario where I could see like, okay, this this may be something I could see getting would be if you can use it responsibly, right? Like if you,
maybe like a responsible business owner, like a card store owner who truly buys a ton of product and is responsible about it. But I don't know. This just strikes me as like a match not made in heaven. How about that?
yeah, use responsibly or don't use.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Credit cards can get you into trouble quick if you're
Yeah.
not responsible about it.
Yeah.
So
And the 6-month thing is nice, but what happens at month 6 if you've bought
6 months, 6 months shows up real quick when you've forgotten about purchases you made recently.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you a trap that I've had friends get into, not obviously not with this card because it's new, but man, I got no interest for 6 months. I've got other things I can pay in the meantime. I'll take care of that stuff first and then bounce back to this. It's, it's like balancing this for that. And that's fine. But the problem is maybe they paid stuff off too soon and used resources that they need to pay this one off because now the interest rate's 25% or something crazy. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I hope that people use it responsibly if they get it.
I think the vast majority of people, including myself, and I know this from when I was younger, overestimate how good they are with money, and that's why credit cards, can get people into trouble because everyone thinks, I'm responsible, I'm good at with money, I'll pay it off when it's time, I won't be in debt at that. Anyway, this is sort of a non-card conversation. Just don't get this credit card. Don't buy. So this is our advice show. So don't buy product.
Yeah.
Right when it comes out, and don't get the Fanatics credit card.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Questions of the day, buddy. Are you ready?
Junkwax Rookie back with more. He's our big question guy.
He's like VIP question asker. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Lightning round. Yeah.
Great stuff as always. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Another lightning round, 60 seconds or less. All right, so we're going to ask each question, and we're each going to answer it very quickly and not nerd out on it hardcore.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Number 1, thoughts on IP auto inscriptions. Personally,
in person. Yeah, IP meaning in person, I assume.
In person. IP is in person auto. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're cool. It's not my thing, but they're cool.
Same. I like vintage ones, but modern ones, they bring significantly less than pack pull autos do. Personally, I'm not a big IP fan. I think it's cool if you go up to your favorite player, get an auto, get it, slabbed if you want, keep it forever, or keep it so you want to sell it. But as far as like on the resale market, I'm not a huge IP fan. I think that they certainly have value, and clearly that value is always going to be, for the most part, going to be tapered down quite a bit lower than the pack pull ones generally.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, future of the rookie card in sports cards. Modern collectors see case hits, inserts, and autos. Each player has multiple rookies. Yeah, I think they've gotten in the weeds here quite a bit because they may have 3 different years of rookie cards, quote unquote. And certain things I can understand, like baseball, for example. Bowman Chrome is their prospect card, and then they have their Topps rookie card when they're actually in the league, and that's their league rookie card. That I can understand, but besides that, I just think I think there's just too many things coming out as rookies. I'd love to see. I don't know. What do you think on that?
Well, I think I interpret the question asking like, will rookies be relevant compared to like case hits, kabooms, and
oh, I see.
I would say yes. I mean, there might be the insert phase happened in the 90s too, where inserts sort of overtook rookies. That was because rookies were overproduced, but the inserts were kind of new and cool. And we're seeing that again today. But in the long run, I think the rookie always wins out.
I definitely agree with that. I think the rookie largely always wins out over these cool case hits and inserts. There may be a one-off exception. Maybe the draft schemes that you talked about is just
that's a rookie. Actually, that's a rookie though.
Oh yeah, duh. Okay, never mind. Okay, alter egos, good example. Maybe these alter egos or downtowns, things like that are super hot. Maybe those things eventually start to lose their interest. People lose their interest level in them and they start coming down. But rookie's always a rookie. So yeah, I would put more faith and confidence in a rookie than I would the others. Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
All right, number 3. How would you rank these sports in terms of card market cap and their trend? Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, non-sport.
So card market cap, meaning like how much business is done in that sport today.
That's what I would assume. Yeah.
I would get, I would guess soccer, hockey, non-sport is 4, 5, 6. I think soccer's surpassed hockey, by the way. 1,
I
2,
do too.
3 is pretty close. I don't know. I would guess baseball, basketball, football, then soccer, hockey, non-sport.
Yeah, when you throw vintage in the mix here, which we are, I would definitely say baseball, basketball, football, soccer, maybe non-sport, then hockey. Maybe, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'd say baseball, basketball.
Actually,
football.
by the way, if we're calling Pokemon non-sport's actually number 1, right?
I think for the purposes of this question, I probably wouldn't include TCG.
Okay.
The more like non-sport cards. If so, I agree. Non-sport would probably be number 1. Yeah. Probably number 1. All right. Yeah, that would be my order.
Okay, and in terms of their trend, that would be a different order. They're all good.
Trend for me would be soccer, non-sport, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, I guess.
Yeah, I'd probably soccer, football, maybe non-sport, basketball, baseball. Yeah, I'd put hockey. They're all good though. They're all trending. They're all trending.
They are. Agreed. All right, number 4, favorite second-year cards.
That's tough to come up with on the spot.
I know. 48 Leaf Jackie, which is truly 49. But in regards to it having been known as 48, I would say 49 Bowman Jackie would be one of my favorite second-year cards.
All right. I'll allow it.
But if not, I'd say 50 Bowman Jackie.
Okay. I'll say a lot of the key rookies in the 60s and early 70s are on 2 cards, or on 2-player cards, or 3 or 4-player cards. Pete Rose and Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Rod Crew. All these guys share their rookie with somebody else, and so it's sort of like a boring 2-person card. So a lot of them have cool second-year cards, like Johnny Bench, 69. He's got the rookie cup. Tom Seaver, 68. He's got a rookie cup. A lot of these are kind of cool. Pete Rose, 64. Rookie cup. So I would kind of go with those 60s. A lot of the 60s guys who share their rookie with someone else.
I actually really like Yastrzemski's second year. 60.
Oh, Yastrzemski's is nice too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Let's see. Last one. How much sealed product is still out there by decade from 50s and on? Oh man.
The 50s, there's nothing. I mean, not literally nothing, but you won't see one except at the National or something.
Yeah, not much. I mean, I'm sure there's still finds out there in the wild that have yet to be uncovered, I'm sure, but I don't know. I mean, no clue. It's a great question. No clue. Yeah. I kind of echo Chris there, like, in 50s, 0.1%, maybe. I don't know.
Not even. Yeah.
And then 60s, I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, literally in the wild, like, do you ever see 50s or 60s? I'm not talking about a card show when you're at, baseball card exchanges table. I'm saying when you're looking at a collection, you never see 50s or 60s, and even 70s is pretty rare now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I see it, but not often.
You see sealed 60s wax or 50s?
Very, very rarely. Now, 50s, not so much. It'll be a rare day when I see 50s. 60s, occasionally I'll see a couple of nice like packs. Like I got a 67 pack sitting over here. But occasionally I'll see one of those, more often than 50s for sure. 70s, quite a bit more, but not common. To your point, not common. Yeah. But I'll see, like, I've got a bunch of 70s sitting over here, wax stuff, and so there's definitely it wouldn't be hard to find 70s wax, but it is harder to find 50s, 60s wax. I mean, if you go on BBC's website, I'm sure they have some of all of that, but that they're largely the go-to for that type of stuff.
Yeah. 80s, tons of it.
Yeah, tons.
90s, tons of it. 2000s, tons of it, 2010s, tons, and 2020 tons.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like at this in the late 70s and before. There's very little, and then throughout the 80s it ramps up heavy, and then it stays heavy the rest of the.
Agreed. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Great questions as always, Junk Wax Rookie. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Playoff Parched Plethora.
Okay.
I hope I said that right. Plethora. There we go.
Yes, that sounds about right. We'll go
All right. Huh?
PPP.
PPP from PPP. There we go. Would you guys feel bad for gamblers losing too much money, and would you propose regulation on how much a gambler can lose? Because that's what it is, Fanatics intentionally turned this into a casino, intentionally raised the stakes, and intentionally raised the house advantage. Yeah, really good question. Really, really good question. Well, they have Gamblers Anonymous for people to call and get help. Is Fanatics doing that?
I don't know. Good question. They should.
They definitely should if they're not. I personally don't like the gambling aspect. Look, it's always a gamble when you open wax, right? It's a gamble. But it's been priced out of a reasonable gamble, in my opinion. It's just been, for me anyway, it has for sure. You know, it's just been priced out of it. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I would certainly feel bad for anybody who, if they lost more money than they could, I would definitely feel bad for them. You know, as an adult, there's got to be some personal responsibility in terms of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I would of course feel bad for anyone who's in a spot like that.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of premise of your question that it's been turned into a casino, I mean, parts of the hobby have, yeah, but many parts have not. And I think, and I'd say the majority has not. I don't partake in anything gambling related, and I'm a full-time dealer. So I wouldn't say that they've turned the entire hobby into a casino. I think they've converted one little section of it to a very gambly type environment, which I don't like at all. But I just avoid it. Now, would you put regulations on that stuff? Yeah, I'm open to that, very much so. I think that's probably healthy, especially things like 18-year-olds can't, if you have to be 18 to partake in a break, things like this, I think would be healthy regulations. But regulations are harder to implement than you might think. Like, how do you prevent somebody from gambling too much? Like, what's the rules you put in place to limit how much they can lose? You can always go to a different target. You can always find another break. You can always find, so I don't know. I like it in principle, but I don't know how realistic it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, one thing I definitely don't like is when there's a report on cards that are opened in a box, and then people like talk about, oh man, I would have loved to have had that. You know what I mean? Like, I think Jeff Wilson had mentioned, oh man, I'd love to have this row. I forget who did a video on it, but it was like the top row of cards that somebody won in a box break, but they totally lost a ton of money. And it's like, instead of defending it, like, oh yeah, I'd love to have that. Let's be real and say, dude, I'm so sorry you lost that much money. Maybe we should not buy those boxes as much or at all instead, because I don't want you to lose money. That would be a much better response, right?
Yeah. What's up, Thor?
Yeah, I think one of the regulation things that Jeremy brought up last year is, if you're going to provide the boxes to breaking companies, and a lot of boxes at that, why can't there be a cap on the amount of money they're allowed to make off of that box? Like, that's been my big issue with, if a box is worth, let's say $2,000 right now, and they make $6,000 from it, like, to me, that's just not right. Like, there needs to be some type of, making sure we're not creating even more damage to people than needs to happen, in my opinion.
No, I like that in principle a lot. You're saying for a break, like if they provide boxes to a breaker, the breaker is not allowed to upcharge it beyond X, so they make a small percentage.
Correct.
I mean, in principle, that's a good idea. I'm sure in principle, it's a good idea.
I mean, yeah, a rogue breaker could go out and buy boxes themselves off of eBay or another marketplace. I can see that, but the boxes coming from Fanatics, they have some control over that. I mean, we've heard card shops say how little allocation they're getting. So if Fanatics has a hold over what everybody's getting,
Yeah.
So why can't they ensure what they give out to, there's some type of protecting the consumer,
100%. And the only thing I can say that I can think of right now anyway is Fanatics can't control. Let's say that they come out with a product and there's 120 players in that product. Let's just say, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't control if 119 of them end up being just not good players, and only one of them is a real stud, and the rest of them are terrible, and that box is not worth much at all compared to what it was sold for. Fanatics can't control that, but they can control looking at what has happened historically at all the product that they have released, and what happens the second it gets released down, and what breakers are doing with those boxes, to your point, and say, hey, we want to step in on behalf of the consumer so that we're doing right by them and not just looking at our bottom line. That can, should, and really I hope does happen, because it hurts my heart, man, that so many people are just getting crushed here. At the end of the day, if they enjoy it and they view that as a form of entertainment, and they're like, hey, instead of going to the nice meal and expensive day trip, I'm gonna buy a box and roll the dice instead, and if I hit something good, I'll still go to this nice meal or whatever, and if I don't, then I won't. Go for it, sure. But you know what I mean. I just, it hurts my heart that there's such heavy losses so many times.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's see what is next.
Question, PPP.
Thank you, Triple P. All right, Producers Corner, tell us your biggest deal you ever purchased from start to finish. Ooh.
Yeah, so we Jeremy talked about this like 2 minutes before the show, before we started recording. There's actually been bigger deals than the one we're going to talk about in terms of price, but
Yeah.
they were pretty straightforward, and they didn't really come with a great story. So we're going to talk about the time we bought out a booth at the National. I've actually done a video about it, but I think I made the video like 4 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Probably a lot of people haven't seen it. So we bought out a booth at the National, and I want to say 2018.
That sounds right.
Okay.
That sounds right. I think, yeah.
From a gentleman named Anthony, who we still know, and I still see him every day. Not every day. We still see him at the National every year. I used to look that's up, but yeah.
I love Anthony, man. He's such a cool dude.
Very cool dude. I'll just give the quick intro. We were both going to the National that year with the intention to buy deals together. That was I think it was that, and I think it was maybe it was 2017. It was either 17 or 18. But I got there first, a day or so before Jeremy, and I was walking around, and I was hanging out at Anthony's. I was just looking at Anthony's booth. I didn't know him. I was looking at his cards and was sort of like, "Oh, wow, you've got some really nice stuff." And he said, "Oh, I'm looking to sell the entire booth." And I said, "Oh, wow. Well, that might be something we're interested in. But my partner flies in tomorrow, so we'll come by and check it out tomorrow." And you flew in, and we went and checked it out the next day. So yeah, you take it from there.
Yeah, so I'm looking around, and I had bought a couple small deals for us that was pretty good deals, and then you're like, hey, you should come check out this table. This guy wants to sell out his entire booth. My ears perked up. I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool. So we go over there, and do you have a picture of that booth still?
I do, which I can give to Theo to put up.
Yeah, definitely do. So in the picture, I'm not sure what the picture will show, but there was just tons of binder pages, and it was like partial sets, some complete sets, but a lot of partial sets or near sets. And, as you would maybe expect to see, a lot of times the top cards would be taken out, and they were either graded and sold separately or graded and on top of the set or something like that. But there was a bunch of partial sets, near sets, some complete sets. And there were certainly some bigger single cards that were there as well. I believe it was mostly all vintage, right? Maybe a little bit of modern, but mostly
all vintage. Yeah.
All vintage, yeah. And the highlight, I believe, was graded a BVG 1.5 52 tops mantle. Is that right?
BVG 2.
BVG 2. Okay, so BVG 2 52 tops mantle was the highlight of the collection.
Yep.
I believe at that time. Oh, so let's pause button there. Okay, so I'm getting ahead. So we look at this collection, and Chris and I at times would do something fun. So instead of us collaborating together on values of stuff, we would divide and conquer and I would price half, he would price half. Well, this time we're like, why don't we just both price out this entire booth and see how close we are? Remember that?
Roughly, yeah.
And we both priced it out, and I forget the exact numbers, but you would probably remember better than me on the exact numbers. But we were within like 2 to 5% of each other, or something ridiculously close on this big pile of vintage stuff, which was extremely impressive to me that we would be that close dealing with it. And there was a lot of raw stuff too, so we were within about probably 5%, I would guess. But anyway, so we look it up, we talk to him, we negotiate with him. And we used a few examples like, hey, what are you valuing this at in the collection? And he would say a number, and we'd say, okay, well, I think it's a little bit less. Here's the comps. And, we'd kind of agree on that. So we ended up settling at, I believe it was $60,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Which today probably would mean we would have paid $180,000 today. I don't know, 150, 180, 150, maybe 120 at least. At least 120. I don't know, whatever it is.
The mantle was 15 grand then, and it's probably 60 grand now. Yeah, but
that's what I was just gonna say. We ended up we ended up doing the deal, and in hindsight, we sold that mantle for like 14, was it 14, 15, 16,000? $15,000. Well, today that's a lot more than that, right? 30, 40, 50, about 40,000, maybe 50.
I think it's like 60. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's a lot more.
Somewhere in the 50K range, depends on what it looks like, but somewhere in the 50K range, maybe more 60, 70K, up to that maybe. But anyways, I would say around 40 to 50K probably. Anyways, so it's worth a lot more today. So we end up we agree on the price on this deal. And we had some, we were short on funds, I believe, right, Chris? We didn't.
So back up. There's a couple details. One, the negotiation, we were kind of off, if you remember.
We were off.
He was, I don't remember what it was, but we wanted to be more at like 40, 45 or so. And he I can't remember where he started, but he was like absolute bottom line 60. And it was clear he was not coming down off of that. And it put us to a decision because it was a tough call. It was I don't remember how what we evaluated it at, but I remember being like 45. It's a yes. When you get into the 50, 55 range, it's kind of like probably, but then when you get into 60, it's really kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
And so we thought about it for a while, and I think we ultimately decided to take the leap, but knowing that it was a bit of a risky buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we didn't have the cash on us, obviously, and he wanted cash. Thanks, Anthony. So we had to figure that out. And I actually don't remember what happened, but you went around to like 3 different banks, or I don't know what happened.
I went to 3 different banks, and one gave me like 10, another one gave me 20, and then you went.
They all had limits. Yeah.
All had limits, and they were pretty tapped because the National was in town.
Yeah. Right. Everyone was doing.
And then you went and pulled some, and I think we made a total of 5 bank trips. I think I made 3, you made 2, right? I believe you made 2, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
And then we finally get to money together, and we wanted to have more money too. We didn't want to spend all of our money that we could get in cash available to us on this and have nothing left for us. So we get the money together. We get with him. I think this was after the show Saturday, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And again, super cool of him to let us sell through it Saturday and not pay him till Saturday night, because we obviously were trying to get money together and watching the inventory and stuff. But anyway, so we meet him didn't we meet him in the U where you park under?
Yeah, it was in the Chicago Rosemont, right off
Rosemont
parking. No, not parking area, like the drop off area.
Mm-hmm. And you should tell this next part. It's pretty hilarious. But go ahead.
I'm gonna get it wrong. So he shows. We all meet and we're all meet in the lobby just as the show has ended. And Jeremy's got I don't know what she had, a backpack full of cash. And I think his wife is with him, and the 4 of us were like, okay, where do we give you the money? And there was like this crowded lobby area, and so it didn't make sense to go there. We couldn't go back into the booth because the show was closed, and there was nowhere nearby to walk to. So we were like, where do you want me to count out this much money and give it to you? So we decided to go into our car, which was parked into like the delivery area, and we're just sitting in the car, and Jeremy starts counting bills in the car, and he messes up a few times and has to start over. And at some point, or at some point we get it right. And then I remember his wife was like, "Is this how all like card transactions are done?" And we're like, "No."
This is definitely not how they're usually done.
This is amateur hour, but we got the job done.
And Anthony was like, "Man, isn't this how drug deals go down? Like a bag of cash counting in the car, you're driving, I'm helpless."
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny, man. It was hilarious. But anyways, I finally learned how to add, apparently. I think what happened was I got sidetracked talking, and I was like, crap, was that 10,000 or 15 or what? Let's start over or whatever. But anyway, so we get it done deal. And, every now and then we still keep in touch, but it was absolutely a blast. So we finished selling through the as much as we can anyway, the rest of the show. And you take it with you back. And in hindsight, I think that we paid 60, and after many, many months of work, we ended up making like 10 grand profit or something.
Yeah. It was,
And it may sound like, oh man, you guys made 10 grand on that's great. Well, when you spend that kind of money and it takes that amount of time to get it back, because there was a lot of work to extract that money, that $10,000 profit, it actually wasn't really worth it. We in hindsight, we shouldn't have done that deal. But I'm also kind of glad we did in a way, because it was super fun, and it's a great story to tell, and it's a fun story to tell.
Yeah. No, from a pure business standpoint, it was not a good deal. Put up a lot of money and took a lot of time to sell through, which would not, from a business standpoint, isn't worth what we made off of it.
Right.
We probably assessed it kind of right. Like if we had paid 45, that would have been good. If we had 50, 55, kind of borderline. Paying 60 was too much. But yeah, we didn't get smoked or anything. And like you said, the story and the experience was valuable as well. So
yeah,
I wouldn't take it back.
Right. And I'm sure that both you and I learned something in that too with the cards. Yeah. Because he did have some other stuff that's like, oh, we don't really see that very often. And we look into it. We learned some more about that product, whatever it was,
Yeah.
So yeah, in hindsight, it was a very fun deal, and we gained a friend out of it. Anthony is such a good dude. We love him. He is awesome. And but the biggest thing for me was trusting someone to say, here, take my keys. $100 grand worth of stuff. Take it. That's amazing. That's amazing that he felt comfortable enough with us to do that, and he had never met us before at all. It's not like you already had your YouTube channel and I had my thing going. That hadn't happened yet.
Two strangers. Yeah.
Two strangers. He's never met, never knew, didn't know from Adam, and he felt comfortable enough with you and I to say, here, take my keys, pay me this large sum of money after the fact.
One detail I forgot. So when we get into the car, so remember at this point we have all his cards and we have not paid him a dime. And we're like, hey, let's get in the car and do it. And so, and I'm like, hey, you get in the front seat and I'll sit in the back seat right behind you, while Jeremy gets in the driver's seat. And we all get in and close the door. And he goes, what are we going to go for a ride now? Like we were going to murder him. But we didn't. We weren't going to murder him, and we didn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's so funny. I remembered you saying, isn't this how drug deals go down or something? But I forgot he said that. That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
So I think he might have been a tiny bit nervous when we got in the car together.
Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah, sure. Rightfully so. Yeah. That was such a fun deal, man. So fun.
Anyway, it's not our largest deal ever, but I think it's our largest deal that comes with a notable story. So
yeah, very unique story. Very unique story.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Collector Investor Podcast. Texas Snowman and Chris Sewall in that order. Feel free to check out the description below to see how to reach out to us directly and our other social media platforms and the auction house. See you next time.